As the Cardinals offense has struggled this season, a bright spot has been left fielder Chris Duncan. He's in the lineup tonight. The Dodgers are led by their first baseman Nomar Garciaparra, at home hitting close to 400. Two historic franchises square off tonight. Cardinals and Dodgers next on FSN. Beautiful Los Angeles, California. It is a perfect night for baseball at Dodger Stadium. The Cardinals and the Dodgers in Game 1 of a 3-game set here on FSN Midwest. Some MVPs to talk about in this game. Jeff Kent, the 2000 winner with San Francisco. Albert Pujols, a couple of seasons ago. And as an instructor now at the Cardinals, Larry Walker, he won it back in 1997 with the Colorado Rockies. We could use his bat, I can tell you that. As the Cardinals are struggling offensively, to say the least. That's Al Rabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Dodger Stadium. It's always fun to play the Dodgers, isn't it?
It really is. It's a beautiful setting out here. Of course, the Dodgers are leading the Western Division, 8 games over 500 with a 3-game lead, so another tough opponent for the Cardinals.
Our Ford Key certainly concerns the offense and the MV3 that we talk about. Pujols, Edmonds, and Roland, and those three are really struggling.
All struggling. Tony was telling me that he's got 2 types of hitters on his team right now. He's got a core group of guys that are trying to do too much and messing things up, and then he's got the veteran guys that are saying, hey, lay back, don't worry about it, it will happen. But he said, we are not that good of a ball club to not have this turn around immediately, because this team could get buried quickly.
When we come back, we'll talk pitching and the matchup tonight here at Dodger Stadium. Brad Thompson, his second start as a starter for the Cardinals this season. He'll go against a former Redbird. Brett Tomko, Dodgers and Cardinals, coming up in just a bit. Season ago, the Dodgers drew over 3.5 million fans to Dodger Stadium. Big crowd expected tonight with the world champions in town. Game 1 between St. Louis and L.A. Al, let's talk a little pitching in this segment as Brad Thompson will get the start for the Cardinals. His second start since moving from the bullpen. Last time out, he gave the Cardinals 5 innings, and they won that game. He picked up a no decision, but the win went to the Cardinals 4-1, and those wins have been hard to come by for St. Louis.
Well, they have been for somebody other than Looper in the starting rotation. But Brad Thompson really stretched himself out to 5 innings because he had never pitched more than 2 innings in a relief appearance this year. If he gets the ball down with his sinker and his slider, he could contain this offense of the Dodgers.
Brett Tomko was with the Cardinals back in 2003. He was a 13-game winner that season, and he's back in their starting rotation.
He pitches very well here at Dodger Stadium. He's got a lot of weapons, and he pitches well here. He hasn't faced the Cardinals in a couple years, but the one thing about Tomko is you feel that he's going to give you something hard out over the plate, you'll have your chances.
It is a pair of right-handers tonight, Thompson and Tomko. Look at California as we head to break. Game 1 is coming up next.
Welcome back to our FSN Midwest studio. I'm Pat Paris. First pitch in a moment. Right now, the National League scoreboard up to the minute. The Nats edge the Braves. John Smoltz injured in that game. Phillies have rallied against the Brewers. The Pirates blank the Mariners, and the Cubs and Mets tied now in the 9th. Remember to stay with us. Plenty of Budweiser, plenty of reaction on Budweiser Cardinals Live. That is coming up next. Dan and I have the call. Dodgers Cardinals first pitch next on FSN Midwest.
Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. By Auto Tire, the tire pros. For the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By the Missouri Lottery. Show you're a true fan by playing Missouri Lottery Cardinals Scratchers tickets. You could win up to $100,000 instantly in other Cardinals prizes. And by Southwest Airlines. With more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com. It is a gorgeous night for baseball here in Los Angeles. Game 1 between the Cardinals and the Dodgers, and there is Tony La Russa trying to find any answers right now for his offense. It has been a struggle. We take a look at the Cardinals lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You see Pujols at .329 career batting mark, tied for second among active players. Ichiro is up there. You've got Kennedy, Duncan, and Pujols here in the first, followed by Edmonds, Roland, Encarnacion, Molina, X9, and Thompson. Our Rico starter is Brett Tomko, and Tomko is 1-3 on the year.
That pitches very well. Matter of fact, second lowest ERA amongst active pitchers right here in this home ballpark.
7:10 our first pitch here on the West Coast. It is 64 degrees. Adam Kennedy in the leadoff spot, and Kennedy is hitting .230, no home runs, and 8 RBIs.
He likes facing Brett Tomko, where he has a .667 average, 4 for 6 with a home run.
And that pitch is high, 3-0 on Adam Kennedy.
The one thing that Hal McRae feels that they're going to get pitches out over the plate that are going to be hard. Part of being aggressive and yet having the patience to go deep in counts and accept walks.
3-1. Marvin Hudson is our home plate umpire. Ed Montague is over at first. Mike Winters at second. Bill Miller over at third. 3 balls, 1 strike on the Cardinal leadoff man, Adam Kennedy. And that is strike 2. That's one thing the Cardinals did not do in the ball game against Germano yesterday. Just try to grind through some of the at-bats and get deep into counts. We didn't see that at all.
Now there was a 3-1 fastball that was up and away.
The 3-2 is ripped out to right field, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. So Kennedy is aboard to start the ball game. Take a look at the Dodgers defense tonight. Around the Horn, brought to you by Auto Tire. Luis Gonzalez in left, Pierre's in center. Ethier is over in right. Betamit, Furcal, Kent, and Garcia Parra along the infield. And Martin, a very good catcher, is behind the plate. Here's Chris Duncan. He is hitting .284, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs.
Sold for his last 10, and he fall in that category where Tony was talking about guys trying to do a little too much. Told me yesterday he got tired of walking, so he said, I basically got myself out expanding the strike zone.
And that's been the one thing since Duncan has come up that has steadily improved. Is his batting eye has been very good. When he first got to the club, Tony was very impressed with it. He was patient, but it's even gotten better since those first couple of weeks.
So he realizes the mistake he made yesterday.
1-2 the count. Sometimes, though, Al, you can think too much.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, all of a sudden, that's a pitch maybe he goes after that's borderline.
Right. Well, that's it. I mean, he felt like he was walking too much, which is good if the guys behind him are doing something. But so then he wanted to swing the bat because he knows, hey, everybody tells me I got power potential, so swing the bat. But he said he got himself out by swinging everything off the plate.
Count is even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pujols on deck. The next to Duncan is ripped to right field. That's a base hit. Kennedy on his way to second, now on his way to third. Runners at first and third, nobody out for Albert Pujols. Well, this is good to see.
Very good to see.
First baseman, number 5, Albert Pujols.
Once again, you know, Tomko's going to give you something to hit. And something out over the plate a little bit. Just stroked hard right into right field, so we got runners at the corners. And the Cardinals very rarely have taken a lead in the first inning.
Or taking a lead.
Period.
Yeah, in games, they've only done it 9 times, and when they have, they've grabbed the first run of the game. They are 6-3 in those 9 games. Conversely, the Dodgers, when they score first, they are 17-3. And those 9 games for the Cardinals is a league low, so hopefully they can change that starting tonight. Cardinals come in as a team hitting .234, which is the bottom of the National League.
Wow.
And only 3 runs a game. That's all they're getting. So a lot of pressure has been put on the pitching staff of St. Louis. There's nobody at second base, and it almost looked like Russell Martin was crossed up on that last pitch.
Well, he's set up inside, and see the ball is down and away, but you see how awkwardly he catches it, almost losing his balance. So just totally missing location. Now he does go out to talk to him. And we've seen guys before that, you know, pitcher just can't see the fingers when they put it down the signal, and so eventually they put tape on him. And I think it was just that he was expecting the ball inside and it was down and away with a little mustard on it.
Well, this is where Pujols can be very selective. 2 balls, no strikes. You see what he's done in this spot this year. Runners at the corners, and Albert On a 2-0 pitch, pops it up. For Kyle, puts the first out in his back pocket there.
And as a pitcher, you know, when you get in a situation first and third, nobody out, you really almost have to concede the run at third base, because you don't want to say, okay, I'll let that one go, but I'm not going to any more. But when you get that pop-up for a great hitter like Albert, then you kind of say, well, wait a minute, now I can get a double play and they don't score. And all of a sudden you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the Dodgers know all about it. They broke loose against Cincinnati over the weekend, but they have been stranded in the bases full with nobody out.
And now the double play is a concern if you're the Cardinals. Double play and you get out of this jam. Albert Pujols, by the way, Al, the Cardinals are 8-18 when Pujols fails to drive in a run. 8-18. And he had a golden opportunity there. He's now 3 for his past 28. Edmonds, a check swing, and this is going to be a base hit. How about that? A run will score. It's 1-0. On his way to third, it's Duncan. A check swing, RBI double for Jim Edmonds. Excuse me, well, he'll take it.
And sometimes that breaks you out of a slump more than anything. But just yesterday, Edmonds was telling me, I said, you've been hitting some balls really hard, and you've been, and you know, getting robbed. He said, I'd rather have some fluke hits than hit balls hard. I go at the base hits. So he's tried to stop his swing. It pays off. And he picks up Albert, who popped up with the first and third for the first out of the inning. But Jimmy's RBI double, really huge, large. Now there's one out. Now you got to get Scott Rowland going too.
So 3 hits in the first inning for the Cardinals. Scott Rowland is 3 for his last 40. 3 for his last 40. Edmonds is now 7 for his last 39, and Pujols 3 for his last 28. So the big 3 have not been doing it as of late. Edmonds, the runner at second base. Duncan over at third. And the pitch is taken by Scott Rowland for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, you're not picking on the core guys, the big 3, but they have to assume a great deal more responsibility. When you look at the payroll, I mean, they're the 3 guys who are getting the bulk of the money. So along with that comes responsibility. They're also the guys with a proven track record that when it's all said and done, you believe their numbers will be there.
Pitching coach here in Los Angeles is Rick Honeycutt. Remember him? Finished up his playing career with the Cardinals in '96 and '97. And Rowland hits it out to deep center field. Spacious out there as Pierre will back up. And he'll make the catch. Run will score. It's 2-0. RBI for Scott Rowland, number 14.
Right fielder, number 43, Juan Encarnacion.
One thing about Juan Pierre out there in center, we saw this at spacious center field at Coors Field in Colorado when he was there. With all that space out there and all that room, his arm becomes a major factor. It is a subpar arm for center field.
Speed, and he can make some differences tracking down balls, and then he's a real good offensive player.
Here's Encarnacion. Made his debut. Ball game yesterday. Grounded into a double play. He struck out, grounded out in another at bat. He was 0 for 3.
Not get a ball out of the infield, but he said he's feeling okay.
Juan played here in Los Angeles for a couple of seasons. 1 ball, 1 strike. The right fielder tonight. And he takes a ball outside. Rough first inning here for Tomko.
As mentioned, Tomko came in this season with the lowest ERA at Chavez Ravine, his home ballpark, amongst active pitchers. He's fallen now to second. What else is good is he has not faced his former team, the Cardinals, in about 4 years. So a lot of times when you haven't seen a guy or don't have a lot of bats against him, they struggle. So far, a good start.
The 3-1 pitch. Encarnacion lines it up the middle. That's a base hit. 3-0 St. Louis here in the first, as Juan gets his first base hit, his first RBI.
You know, these Dodger coaches who I talked to and told them how much the Cardinals were struggling, they think I'm a big liar right now. Pitch right out over there. It looked like he tried to throw a little cutter or something. Didn't do much and just takes it up the middle. That's the stroke we've been looking for. And it gets not only a base hit and an RBI.
3 first-inning runs tonight. Prior 35 games. That's an amazing stat. 3 runs. Just a different feel already here at the ballpark if you're a Cardinal fan.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Dodger fans arrive late, leave early. They haven't even settled in their seats, and the Cardinals have had as much production tonight as they have in with 35 other games in the first inning.
And here is Molina with a 3-0 lead now, and he hits it out to right. This will do it as the catch is made by Andre Ethier, but the Cardinals pick up 3 runs in the first. Thompson takes to the hill when we come back. Bottom of the first rolls in here at Dodger Stadium, and the Cardinals have a lead of 3-0. RBIs for Edmonds, Roland, and Encarnacion. Dodgers lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For Cal, Pierre, and Garcia Parra in his 12th season now, hitting close to 400 here in his home ballpark. Then Kent, Gonzalez, Martin, Benamit, Ethier, and Tomko. Our advanced auto parts starter for the St. Louis Cardinals, Brad Thompson. And with the Cardinals out jumping out to this 3-0 lead, even a greater responsibility now.
Well, you want to shut them down the first inning and then continue from there. But it's nice for a starting pitcher for a change to have a little breathing room. Not that you want to give up anything, but at least he knows he has a margin for error.
Tony La Russa was telling the media following the game yesterday, when asked about his offense and what was happening with it, he said it's an embarrassment, and he said they should apologize to Anthony Reyes, who is now 0-6. He took the loss, and Anthony is getting about a run a game of support. That's it. And for Kyle is aboard. Around the Horn brought to you by Auto Tire. We take a look at the defense for the Cardinals. Duncan, Edmonds, Encarnacion. They're on the outfield. Roland, Eckstein, Kennedy, and Pujols on the infield. Molina is behind the plate.
We'll be playing in with Juan Pierre. Always have to worry about Recall stealing a base, or Pierre sacrificing him into scoring position.
Bunts it in the air, but it doesn't matter. One hop to Thompson. Runner moves up to second base. One thing about Scott Rowland, when you think about his struggling offense, Al, is the fact that his defense is still going to be outstanding and pretty much better than anybody else in the league.
7-time Gold Glove winner has not committed an error this year.
Garcia Parra hitting .391 here at home. .299 overall, 1 home run, 24 RBIs.
He's also near 500 with runners in scoring position. Second in NL in that department. And he leads the Dodgers with 24 RBIs.
So no sacrifice. They wave that off for Pierre. And a breaking ball and a strike to Nomar.
You know, they do that because he looks like he's trying to bunt for a base hit. But, you know, why just give yourself up? I mean, he can bunt and bunt for a base hit.
Right.
With his speed, it's always got a shot. So that, to me, is a sacrifice.
So Garcia Parra hitting, as you mentioned, Al, close to 500 with runners in scoring position. The only one better is Barry Bonds. Second best in the National League. He's retired for out number 2. For Kyle, moves up to third.
Batting cleanup, second base.
Good side, ground ball.
Yep. Here's Jeff Kent hitting .293, 4 homers and 20 RBIs. He just keeps on plugging, doesn't he?
He really does. He's 510 career doubles, 4th amongst active players. You know, he's 1 more RBI. He'll have 1,400 for his career.
We always want to thank our buddy C.J. Cherry for everything he does for us, traveling secretary of the St. Louis Cardinals. And his mom is celebrating her birthday today. She is 79, Virginia Cherry, and we want to make sure that we did this early in the broadcast before she fell asleep. We're going to have a lot of people falling asleep.
Didn't you mean 29?
Well, it is what it is, Al.
What?
You know?
A lot of women don't want their age thrown out there.
Yeah, she's proud of it. Happy birthday, Virginia. You're very proud of your son. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kent. Jeff Kent came up with the Blue Jays back in 1992. He's been with the Mets, the Indians, the Giants, the Astros, and now with the Dodgers. His dad was a policeman here in Los Angeles, and Jeff now calls Texas home. He says he's a cowboy now. That's a strike. He couldn't pull the trigger.
It's a good sign from Brad when fooling good hitters where they can't pull the trigger, not recognizing the pitch.
One and two the count on Kent. Wants it outside, gets it there, doesn't chase. Cardinals put up a crooked number with 3 runs. Start the ball game, 4 hits in the top of the first. Important for that starter then to come back and make sure it stays 3-0. Set the tone in this game.
You want to tell that offense that, hey, I appreciate you got the runs. I will keep them off the board, so get me more.
Jeff Kent had that blast off of Jason Isringhausen back in 2004 when he was with Houston. Gave the Astros a 3-2 series lead, and the Cardinals came back, won the final 2 games of that championship series. 3-2 is pulled foul.
See, if he keeps that fastball, that sinking fastball down there, the only thing they can do is pound it in the dirt. And more times than not, it'll be sucked up by one of the Cardinal fielders.
You wonder how deep Brad Thompson can go in a game.
And Molina look up, trying to make sure there's no peeking. Get the fastball down and away again.
5 innings in his last start. First starting assignment of the season after working out of the bullpen. Injury to Chris Carpenter, and Thompson was moved to the starting rotation.
It all depends on how many pitches he throws, but the one thing about California night air, it is cool and invigorating. So that might propel him to at least another inning if the pitch count is somewhat respectable.
This will be pitch number 13 for Thompson. Pulled foul again.
Throwing strikes, keeping the ball out there. They're going to whack at it, but they're hitting it on the ground. That's always a good sign. One RBI away from 1,400, 1 home run away from 350. Kent's career.
Most of that done as a second baseman.
Same pitch again, down and away.
And gets the ground ball too short. Eckstein is there. Low throw to Albert Pujols. He picks it. Scoreless frame for Thompson. And due up for the Cardinals, David Eckstein. Number 8 man in the lineup tonight. The state baseball history brought to you by Schnucks Jose Oquendo. The secret weapon becomes the first non-pitcher in 20 seasons to earn a decision back in 1988. You remember that?
Yeah, we did the brawl game. It ended up being 19 innings.
Right.
He pitched 3 shutout innings before he gave up 2 runs in his 4th inning of work.
Here is David Eckstein.
I think the last position player prior to that was like Rocky Colavito, and he got a W in his effort.
Eckstein yanks it down the left field line and foul.
Rick Mailer said it was eventually the winning pitcher for Atlanta. Said it was the most pressure he ever felt. Trying to make sure he was on the good side of the ledger in a pitching decision against Oquendo.
That is pulled fair off the bat of David Eckstein. And David is thinking too. The Cardinals now with 5 hits. So back in 1988, Jose Oquendo takes to the mound, and we've got video for proof that this actually took place. Approaching midnight, it hits midnight in this long game, and Jose's on the mound.
Like I said, he pitched 3 shutout innings before they got to him in his 4th inning of work.
Jose De Leon was playing right field. That was who made that catch.
It went 19 innings at St. Louis.
I was there.
It was a long night, but it got to be fun because of seeing Jose pitch.
It was a great night for me. I was in the stands and then had a chance to move down to the front row because everybody else had left.
That looked like a deer caught in headlights when squaring around the bunt. Baby face, but boy, when he gets upset, his face gets a little red. Good competitor, sometimes gets hard on himself.
You might remember in that game in 1988, memory serves me correct, De Leon and Tom Brunansky would switch between right and left field, Al, as Thompson is out, depending on who would be the hitter, lefty or righty.
Put out to the catcher as he bunts, and then it hits him when he comes out of the batter's box.
Let's say it's a put out 2 as the ball hit the batter.
And how they do that is the put out goes to the nearest defender.
Right. Kennedy singled and scored back in the first.
9 for 7 now against Tomko, and he pulled the string on him.
Boy, little things like that you hope don't come back to haunt you. Not being able to get a bunt down if you're a pitcher, sacrifice and move that runner to third base, only have 1 out. See if Kennedy can't drive him in.
I think we can, of all the Cardinals starters, we'll give a little bit of leeway for Brad Thompson because of just the fact that he's been inserted there and not getting all the bang practice bunting. But you're absolutely right. A pitcher can help himself.
Just outside, a little bit high to Adam Kennedy. He was booed as loudly as anybody else in this lineup. Pujols got the most boos, but they remember Adam down the road in Anaheim.
And that's forms of recognition.
Which you appreciate.
Absolutely.
On the outside corner, Adam didn't like it. Spins away from the call. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The player wants to be booed by his home team, but it's a form of recognition, left-handed compliment. Be greeted by a standing boo when you're playing on the road.
2-2 is hit out of play. You grew up in this area, so you grew up what? Were you a Dodger fan, or did you have a player that you followed here?
I actually grew up in Anaheim, and I was a Dodger fan. The Angels were just like the junior college team. But the Dodgers, that's where the stars went. Mount Olympus, climbing up Chavez Ravine to go see the gods.
Kennedy hits it down the right field line, foul. But they keep this place as clean as any ballpark in the country. Opened its doors back in 1962, Dodger Stadium.
It's beautiful, and the weather is great. They don't do anything other than play Dodger games on this facility, so it's always a pretty setting. The hills in the background.
Let's tap foul. You know why they're called the Dodgers, Al?
Because they used to dodge trolley cars back in Brooklyn.
Correct.
Are you surprised?
Not at all. You being
don't
from
go
here?
don't go anymore. Well, I was in Brooklyn, but
oh, I'm just saying. I mean, you grew up around this team. You know the history of this team, and you know all baseball history, Al. So no, I'm not surprised one bit.
you should be then.
Out to right. Is it going to drop? It does. A run will score. Kennedy on his way to second. Eckstein will score, and it's 4-0 St. Louis. A double for Adam Kennedy. Ethier almost came up with it, and Eckstein scores the 4th run of the night.
But you've seen Ethier play left field last season, his rookie season. There's a breaking ball, gets underneath it and lobs it. But Ethier has had two kind of weird approaches on base hits by Kennedy. And sliding catch gets by him. It looked like it was going to fall all the way. And he really just didn't have a quick jump on that ball to out in right field.
Now it's Duncan. Boy, you just get the feeling that this team now can just start to relax tonight. And even though it is just one night, but just relax a little bit and try to get back to what they were doing a year ago.
Well, you know, the Dodgers were complaining last week about not getting clutch hits, bringing in runners from third base, or even leaving the bases full. And then they got kind of healthy over the last 2 games against the Cincinnati Reds. So, I mean, it's just things go in cycles. Usually when you get into slumps, the next thing that follows, you go on a hot streak.
1 ball, 1 strike on Duncan. Pujols on deck. So that shot of Grady Little always will be remembered for the American League Championship Series, and Pedro Martinez pitching for Boston elected to keep him in a game late when he was clearly out of gas, and the Yankees came back to win that game, and they went to the World Series.
Grady had done a very nice job with the Red Sox, but that was what he was remembered for and why he got fired.
Yep. Terry Francona led him to the 2004 World Series, and they are off to a terrific start this year. They beat Detroit tonight. Daisuke Matsuzaka, and the Red Sox win that game 7-1 over the Tigers. Matsuzaka had been complaining that the strike zone here in the United States is smaller than what he was used to, and he also said the baseball in his mind over in Japan was a little bit lighter, and he was struggling with the baseball used in the major leagues. As Duncan hits this one a ton out to right field. Ethier back, he'll look up. That baby is way out of here. Goodness gracious. 6-0 St. Louis. Duncan is 2 for 2, and the bats have come alive here in LA.
Chris's 6th home run that ties Pujols for the team lead. RBI is 12 and 13, and deep into the Cardinal bullpen, Brett Tomko, he knew where it was. That ball belt high, gets his arms extended, and he just launches it back into the bullpen.
Grady Little might want to think about getting somebody up in the bullpen.
And he has.
Rudy
Cianez. I talked to Rudy. I said, "How you feeling?" He goes, "I feel good again." I mean, he said, how many times has he been hurt?
Oh man, he's been around forever, it seems like.
Yeah. Duncan's last will wake up that bench. That's the first time the Cardinals have had a home run in 11 games. And the last one was off the bat of Duncan on May 1st.
Another pop-up off the bat of Albert Pujols. Out to shallow right. Ethier is there. And there's 2 outs. Chris Duncan next to Hal McRae there, Cardinals hitting coach. Next homestand begins May 22nd. Cardinals will host the Pirates and the Washington Nationals, and tickets remain for all games of the homestand. So all the games against those 2 teams coming up. 6-game homestand, good seats available. That includes box seats. You can purchase your seats today at stlcardinals.com.
Got an RBI double the first time up, but average at 215. His on-base percentage and slugging percentage are the same. 80.
Hit out to left. Luis Gonzalez there. Cardinals add to their lead. They pick up 3 more. They've got 7 hits in the first 2 innings, highlighted by this blast. The bat of number 16, Chris Duncan. 6-0 Cardinals. Back at historic Dodger Stadium. 2 of the greats, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale. And how about this? 1965, 592, 567, and 63. In 1966, they had 526. Koufax and Sutton did. Talk about strikeout duos, and for Sandy Koufax, Al, one of his years was just remarkable. 382 strikeouts in 1965.
There was a 6-year period where he was just unhittable. Came up as a wild left-hander who eventually took the roster spot of another left-hander that was 0-4 in his career.
Elected to the Hall of Fame in 1972.
You know who the left-hander was that was 0-4? Tommy Lasorda. Never won a game in the big leagues. He's in the Hall of Fame too because of his managerial career.
Koufax, 165 wins in his 12-year career.
That was it. I mean, he came up, it was so wild at the initial, but when he started getting it going, and then he left because of elbow problems. Drysdale had problems too, but they one year were going to hold out and negotiate as a tandem. And both were going to, negotiate, and said we won't sign until both of us get some ungodly sum of about $100,000.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready?
Sure.
Koufax or Gibson? You got 1 game to win. Who are you going with?
Well, I'm partial. I'm going with Gibson.
Now, if you weren't partial to Bob and you looked at it as a casual fan, but an educated fan, what would you say?
I'd still would have to go with Gibson. I mean, just the competitor he was, and just the battler. He could also win the game with his bat and his glove. But you couldn't go wrong. And I mean, but there were aces and co-aces on teams because he didn't have his, his 2 or 3 expansion rounds fewer. So, I mean, guys would come out on the West Coast and you'd get Koufax and Drysdale, Claude Oseen, Don Sutton, Padres, guys like that. Then you go up and get Marichal, you get Gaylord Perry. You just get a host of these guys that just, you could have an offer for a road trip going up and down the coast.
That's what Mike Shannon always used to say. One of the worst road trips of the season, he'd say. 1-2 is pop foul. Wilson Benameat.
Like I said, we were talking yesterday over the weekend down in San Diego when I came up to the big leagues. I joined the team on a 5-city, 18-day road trip. San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Chicago, Pittsburgh.
Now we've got the normal road trip that you usually see: San Diego, LA, Detroit.
Yeah. Then it used to make sense. They would just go all through the West Coast. You go all 3 cities in the National League. It seemed like it made sense.
At the schedule, looked at that in the offseason. That didn't make a lot of sense to me, or to anybody else. The 3-2 is pulled to first. Pujols is there. He'll step on the bag. Over 3,000 strikeouts for Bob Gibson in his career. Talk about big number 45 when we come back. Bob Gibson, Hall of Famer, inducted back in 1981. Koufax a little earlier, 1972. We asked Al about, he had one big game, who do you go with? And that is ripped off the bat of Scott Rowland. A one hopper off the wall. Boy, this is good to see Rowland drive the baseball. And he's got an RBI tonight. And now he's got a double. And now Tomko is hearing it from the folks here at Dodger Stadium. But Sandy Koufax, Al, you look at his record in postseason play, it's 4-3. But then you start to break it down. You look at the ERA, 0.95. Gibson went 7-2 in the World Series appearances that he had with the Cardinals.
And usually Gibby, when he started a postseason game, he completed it.
Really couldn't go wrong with either one.
Could.
Grounder hit to the left side, so Encarnacion can't advance the runner. You look at this game, the Cardinals lead at 6-0, but you go back to the first and third, nobody out. Pujols pops out to short. You go back to Brad Thompson last inning, runner at second, can't get a bunt down. This instance, Encarnacion up, runner at second, nobody out, can't get the runner over. It's a tight game. Those are the little things that can win them.
Right, but they've had guys pick up their teammates and bring in those runners. Cardinals have only stranded one runner to this point.
Molina lined out to right, first time up. 6-0 Cardinals.
The Cardinals already have 4 doubles.
That's a base hit to the right side. They'll wave in Rowland. Throw from Ethier is not in time. And Yadier is back to the bag with an RBI base hit. It's 7-0.
So we talk about, Encarnacion didn't get the job done, but then Molina does. And Molina now has a career-high 8-game hitting streak. So slicing the ball to the right side. You see Jeff Kent's limited range as he valiant effort, but couldn't get there to knock it down. Keep rolling from scoring. Goes through, and boy, everybody is having a little fun there. And you think Russell Martin, Dodger catcher, now is just stalling for the bullpen to get heated up.
Milwaukee has lost tonight. The Phillies were trailing in their game 6-2 against the Brewers, and they came back late to win it. Brewers now have dropped 3 of 4, and they're in the midst of 13 of 16 on the road.
Rick Honeycutt there, but we talked about over the weekend that Milwaukee is a very good ball club, but they had only played one team going into Shea Stadium that had a winning record. They lost 2 or 3 there, and they lost the first game to the Phillies.
It's going to be it for Tomko. 9 hits allowed here in the first 3 innings. And 7 runs have been scored by the Cardinals. Cianez, a right-hander for the Dodgers, will come in when we come back. 9 hits for the Cardinals. We're only in the top of the 3rd, and the Redbirds lead at 7-0. Rudy Cianez taking his warm-up tosses in relief. But Brett Tomko, we've talked about how you've got to pick up your teammate as you go along after mistakes. That's Adam Kennedy. He did that in the 2nd inning. Jim Edmonds, a little check swing here following the Pujols pop-up. That was back in the 1st. And then Molina, after Encarnacion couldn't advance the runner, Yadier picks up his teammate with a base hit, and Rowland comes in to score. Rudy Cianez is our call to the bullpen. Brought to you by Chevrolet. 16 games he's appeared in for the Dodgers. A record of 1-0, 3.44 ERA.
Rough outing for Brett Tomko. And, a lot of times you start saying when you take a 7-0 lead, you say, we'll save some of the runs. No. This Cardinal club needs to score as many runs as possible, just feel good about themselves and take off.
We remind you, don't miss out on the Bud Light T-shirt day on Thursday, May 24th, 12:10 first pitch. First 25,000 fans ages 21 and over receive this red Cardinals t-shirt. Features the game scores and roster from the 2006 World Championship. For tickets, go to stlcardinals.com or call 345-9000. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals have jumped out to a 7-0 lead here at Dodger Stadium. Eckstein doubled and scored back in the second inning. He is such an important part of this offense for the Cardinals, trying to get him on track. There's a base hit to right. And Molina will stop at second.
Good to see that. And
Pitcher,
got the
Brad
double
Thompson.
down the left field line, gets a single to right field. That's David Eckstein, spraying the ball around, getting deep into counts, doing a lot of little things to be just a pest. Antonio talks about how he is my leadoff hitter, but take a little pressure off him. He's got him in the 8th spot. The second leadoff hitter tonight, and he's doing the job. How about Cianez? He started back in 1986. Second stint with the Dodgers, made the club out of him. Minor league free agent.
.38 years of age. Last sacrifice 2005 for Brad Thompson.
Third baseman relays a sign to the infielders, and then you have to verbally communicate it to a pitcher. Trying to get Molina, a slow-footed runner, at third base, the lead runner.
Now, when guys have been around as long as Cianez, it's usually lefties, as that throw is wide and picked by Kent. Usually lefties that are 38, 39, 40 years old, but a lot of these players now, and even some pitchers, are lasting a longer time in the major leagues. And Cianez is back with the Dodgers for the first time since 1995. So Thompson learning from his mistakes a little bit, because he gets the sacrifice down this time. He didn't the first time.
It clearly had the bunt out in front, but you see, stabbed at that one, and so he hit it back towards the plate. It bounced up and hit him when he left the batter's box for the out. So that's why I said we cut him a little slack. He does get the job down. Now let's see if Kennedy can't get a triple this at bat.
Kennedy's got the single and the double. We saw for San Francisco yesterday, a cycle was hit. And the ball gets away, and scoring, it's Molina. Close the book now officially on Tomko. Brett goes 2 1/3, 8 runs on 9 hits.
Wild pitch as it gets by Martin, and see how hustling is Molina. He crosses the plate before the throw. So Cardinals having a little fun, but they've got a long way to go for payback on the year. That was a young outfielder who only been up for a while, and Lewis got the cycle.
And Kennedy hits it out to right field. Ethier is there. He'll make the catch. Cardinals scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 this inning. Lead at 8-0. Cardinal Baseball on FSN is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. By Rico, move your ideas with Rico dependability. And by Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good. Just a gorgeous night here in Los Angeles. Glad you're with us. Cardinals lead it by the score of 8-0 as the bottom of the third rolls in.
Say that one more time.
8-0. Pass Kennedy, base hit on the right. So Andre Ethier is aboard. And it brings in Cianez after the good effort there by Adam.
Adam has played very well defensively. And off to a good game here. 2 for 3 and an RBI, but just beyond his dive. And A little surprised he even got that close to it.
Saw a great interview today, Al, with Tony Gwynn. He was at the Hall of Fame. And in Cooperstown, it's kind of a dress rehearsal, they say. No sacks for Cienez in his career, but just a walk through the Hall of Fame. And he was asked about what stood out the most about the experience today. And he said seeing Jackie Robinson there, he said it just had never hit him like it hit him today. What Jackie went through, and then the Negro League players that would then eventually make it to the major leagues, and all the guys that in a 10-year span after Jackie Robinson won MVPs.
Well, you know, I had a chance to talk with Don Newcomb today, and Newcomb, you know, he was Rookie of the Year, an honor that is now named the Jackie Robinson honor, but he was Rookie of the Year in 49. Then in 56, he was National League MVP and the National League Cy Young Award winner. He's the only one to have all three, the Rookie of the Year, the MVP, and the Cy Young.
Strikeout for Thompson.
He still doesn't have a sack.
2 strikeouts on the night. Rafael Furcal will dig in. The shortstop.
Boy, is he an exciting player.
He reminds me of Reyes. I think Reyes, in my mind, Jose Reyes, the shortstop of the Mets, is the most exciting player right now in baseball. But this guy, when he first arrived on the scene in Atlanta, was right there. He's got a cannon for an arm. Good shortstop, great range, but the speed, an element of speed at the top of this lineup for the Dodgers, very present every time you see him, because they've got Furcal, and then you've got Juan Pierre. He's got 15 steals, second most in the league behind Reyes, but he's batting second.
Furcal on this homestand is 7 for 13. He was not activated from the DL until April 13th. He suffered a sprained left ankle in spring training. Talking about he's second in the National League in stolen bases.
Boy, right through Thompson. Furcal is 2 for 2, and now he's 6 for his last 6 because he was 4 for 4 yesterday. The Chevy's Cardinals Crew Kids Club features Chris Carpenter this year, and for only $20, you receive over $70 of great stuff. Includes tickets to a ball game, a chance to meet Chris at an autograph party, and much more. Find out more at STLCardinals.com. So Furcal 2 for 2, couple of singles, and now Pierre.
So both of them are right back through the mound and into center field.
Runners at first and second. Anybody that talks about Juan Pierre mentions how hard of a worker he is. Matter of fact, the third base coach of the Dodgers said he's the hardest working player he's ever seen.
They were together in Florida and now reunited here. But he just, everybody you ever talk to talk about what a nice guy he is too.
Pierre has been with the Rockies, the Marlins, Cubs for 1 season, and now the Dodgers. He signed a 5-year, $45 million contract. For Castillo and Pierre with the Marlins, and Castillo is now with Minnesota, and Pierre here in Los Angeles. Those two at the top of the lineup with their great speed caused all kinds of problems.
And they had the double leadoff guys. Since 2001, Pierre has 333 stolen bases, 94 more than Ichiro in second place. And he's had a good homestand, batting .462.
And Pierre says he credits his parents for his attitude and the hard work that he puts in. His dad was a service technician for Bell for a number of years. His mother, preschool teacher, and he said those two never, ever missed a day of work. Runners at first and second, and Pierre slowly hits it to second base. A shuffle there, and they'll get the runner at second.
Juan Pierre is Played in 311 consecutive games, the third longest streak in the major leagues. So I guess he did learn something from his parents.
Runners at first and third. 2 outs here in this third inning. Nomar Garciaparra was traded from Boston to Chicago. Kind of an ugly way to end his tenure in Boston. They picked up Orlando Cabrera, a key part to that deal, which involved Doug McCavich and a few other players. But Garciaparra goes to Chicago. Very much the face of that franchise. He was with Boston for 9 seasons. Beloved player in the city of Boston. And now he has found a home here in Los Angeles. And he rips it down the left field line. It is foul.
In interleague play a few years back, we saw him just how dominant of a player he could be playing against the Cardinals in Fenway. And here he turns on one but can't keep it fair. He and his wife Mia Hamm, proud parents of twins this spring.
Twin daughters in late March. Nomar was asked if he wasn't playing baseball, what would he have done with his athletic career? He said he'd be at UCLA. He would have played soccer. Very good soccer player. The amateur ranks.
He went to Georgia Tech.
Right.
Yeah. But he would have gone to UCLA.
That's what he said.
Soccer.
Yep. High fly ball out to center field. Edmonds there, puts it away. Dodgers strand 2. We have played 3, 8-0. Cardinals on top. Chris Duncan to lead it off for the Cardinals here in the top of the 4th. Redbirds 8, Dodgers nothing. Cardinals with 3 runs in the first, 3 more in the second, and 2 in the third. Duncan 2 for 2, a single, 2 runs scored. And his big blast in the second inning, a home run, his 6th on the year. Boy, when he gets into one, he can hit him a long way. We just saw that back in the second inning. Tremendous power. At the knees, and that's strike 2. So let's go back to the home run.
Arms extended and just launched that ball to the back of the bullpen.
In the hole, 1-2. Broken bat, slowly hit to Garciaparra. He'll flip to Cianez for the first out.
He's pitched with Cleveland, San Diego, Los Angeles, Atlanta, San Diego, back to Atlanta, to Texas, Boston, Kansas City, Florida, back to San Diego, back to Boston, back to San Diego, and now for his 2nd time with the Dodgers.
Brad Thompson and Albert Pujols, the only 2 in this lineup without hits. Pujols came up with runners at first and third, nobody out in the first, and popped out to short. He's also flied to shallow right. Outfield very deep for Albert. Pujols is hitting well over 300 when the Cardinals win. In losses this season, Albert's hitting 194, so it gives you an idea that a lot is on his shoulders. 2-1.
But you also have to believe that it's just a matter of time before he'll start putting things together and be the unbelievable hitter. Only Ralph Kiner has more home runs in his first 6 years than Albert Pujols.
A 2-1 pitch. And Pujols hits it out to deep center field. Pierre is going back, and he makes the catch on the run. Playing deep, and with his speed, takes a hit away and extra bases from Pujols.
You're right. He was playing extremely deep, And he has great speed, so it was easy for him to get back to that wall and make the catch.
Friday nights, get a look around the major leagues. It's the FSN Baseball Report, covering every team all season long. Highlights, interviews, analysis. FSN Baseball Report, Friday at 5 right here on FSN Midwest. That night, we will be in Detroit. Rematch of last year's World Series. Pitching matchups for the remainder of this series. Adam Wainwright tomorrow against Derek Lowe, who's 3-4 on the season. Wainwright is 3-2. And on Wednesday night, Kip Wells, who is 1-7 against Randy Wolf. Wolf is 3rd in the league in strikeouts, and he is 4-3 on the season. The Cardinals had interest in him in the offseason.
He just threw a shutout his last time out.
The Wolf Pack has moved from Philly to Los Angeles. 2-1 on Edmonds. Jimmy with a check swing RBI double back in the first. It's also flied out to left.
That's got the Cardinals scoring after singles by Kennedy and Duncan. Albert popped up, and then Jimmy gets the check swing RBI. Good things were going to happen then. Went on to score 3 runs in the first inning. That gives them 6 total for 36 games.
Reaching for it. He'll fly to center. It'll carry to Juan Pierre. Some Cardinal fans here on the West Coast enjoying this one tonight. Birds on top by 8 runs. Cardinals have a lead of 8-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Brad Thompson back to work against Los Angeles. Redbirds dropped 2 of 3 in San Diego. And they have jumped out to this 8-run lead. Last rainout here at Dodger Stadium was back in 2000. Edmonds back. He is near the wall. He'll look up. It's gone. A home run for Jeff Kent, and the Dodgers get on the board.
Thompson in his first start this year, last time out, made one mistake. He gave up a home run to Holiday that ball game. He has a margin of error. Now it's 8-1, but hopefully that's the only mistake he'll make here tonight.
So last rainout, Al, back in 2000. I get the impression we're going to get this one in.
Yes, we will.
They've had a total of 17.
Might have a better chance of forest fire coming over the hills than the rain.
5-time All-Star Luis Gonzalez, as Jeff Kent hit one to the deepest part of the park, right down the middle.
Well, you saw where it kind of tailed back over the middle of the plate.
And did they go back to back? One with room, and he'll make the catch.
But that is something, for Tony and Dave Duncan to kind of pay a little attention. You have a ground ball pitcher that gives up back-to-back fly balls. Really, the last out, Garcia Parra in the 3rd inning was also a fly ball to center.
This is a very good catcher. Canadian-born catcher. Became the starting backstop for the Dodgers in 06. Finished 9th in the National League Rookie of the Year vote. And Russell Martin is off to a good start here in 07. Came in hitting .318. Pretty good ratio there for Brad Thompson. Our sonic pitch count, as Martin is hitting .368 here at home. Over to get it, Pujols leads Thompson, and that is out number 2. And it brings in Bedemeet.
Third baseman, number 10, Wilson Bedemeet.
There's a gap in this lineup for the Dodgers. It's probably in this spot right here, Al. They're looking for a third baseman that to give them a little bit more production.
Brought up LaRoche. Andy LaRoche, Dave's youngest son, Adam's brother, and he's played a little bit at third base, but a couple different guys. But this is the guy that they would like to have reclaim that position on a daily basis.
Benamit hits it out to left, and Duncan is there. Makes the catch. So after the home run, Dodgers go down 1-2-3. Jeff Kent with home run number 5. Time again for the 19th annual United Methodist Night at Busch Stadium, Saturday night, June 9th. Cardinals host the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and for tickets and information, the number to call is 314-436-3952. Mike Lieberthal, Southern California native, is now back behind the plate. In place of Russell Martin. And here's Scott Rowland. Rowland with an RBI his first time up, doubled and scored back in the third. Always a pleasure when you come to Los Angeles to shake hands with Vin Scully, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, in his 58th season. 58th season as the voice of the Dodgers.
Last of a breed, didn't he?
Oh, he's remarkable to listen to. No balls and 2 strikes on Scott Rowland. I'm sure your days growing up here in Southern California, listening to Vin Scully.
Oh, listen to his storyteller. Great storyteller. There he is. Hall of Famer, 58 years and still going strong. And he just works by himself, and he'll spin and tell the tales in between the pitches thrown and outs being made. Used to always make sure when we were down in the bullpen that we had a radio just so we could listen to him.
So would he come up and visit with you to find out stories about your past and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, he just was remarkable the way he would know things that you'd already forgotten about. But he'd come up with things, and he could weave them into the broadcast with the best of them.
Travels a little bit on some of the trips out here, out west for the Dodgers.
Jaime Jarrín, the Spanish voice of the Dodgers, also a Hall of Famer.
Larry King,
his current wife.
and a check swing. Rowland is out.
Rowland wasn't real happy with Ed Montague, the crew chief and the first base umpire.
First strikeout for Cianes. Relief of Tomko. Brett Tomko started this game with 2 1/3. 8 runs allowed on 9 hits. Allowed the home run to Duncan. Encarnacion with a 2-out RBI base hit back in the first. And he's also grounded out to short. Juan has been with 2 World Series championship teams. Florida Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Grounder left side. Bettamy spins. And they just get him by a step. Almost beat it out. June 9th, golfers from around the world put up 50 grand for a chance at the biggest winner's purse in the history of golf, $2 million. Who's got the game and the guts to win the ultimate game? In Las Vegas, Saturday, June 9th, only on Fox. Yadier Molina. RBI base hit, the third, lined out to right. And he'll ground out here as Kent makes the play. Cardinals rolling Encarnacion and Molina go 1-2-3. Midway through 5, and the Cardinals lead it by 7 runs. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, always worth it. Game 2 of this series will feature Adam Wainwright 3-2 against Derek Lowe. Lowe is 3-4. We'll come your way with the pregame show and Pat Paris at 8:30. That'll be in high definition tomorrow night here on FSM Midwest. Adam is making his 8th start tomorrow. Wins in each of his past 2 starts, and 2 of his 3 wins this season have come against Houston. Here's Andre Ethier. A check swing and strike 1. Ethier played college baseball at Arizona State. That's where Barry Bonds played.
Where Rick Mundy played. And a whole bunch in between.
His first major league home run a year ago, and did it with 2 outs in the 9th. And it was able to make that his first major league home run, a game winner. Grounds to short. Eckstein puts him away.
Let's see Brad get that ground ball again.
Your pitch, please.
Pinch hitter now for the Dodgers. It'll be Andy LaRoche, who has been one of their top pinch hitters so far. He's only hitting .235 down in the minor leagues, but was called up. Grounds to short.
Shortstop number 50, Rafael Furcal.
We're back to the top of this lineup for the Dodgers. Rafael Furcal. Furcal has been very good against the Cardinals in his career. .344 hitter. 6 years with the Atlanta Braves. He was the Rookie of the Year in the National League back in 2000. Got a 3-year, $39 million deal from the Dodgers, even though he had a better deal on the table, an offer from the Chicago Cubs, and he said the man that convinced him to come out west, Manny Mota. So that was the deciding factor.
And there also was a kind of a clause. Sal warming up.
So the last 10 plate appearances now for Cal. 8 for 8 with a walk and a sacrifice. Still, with these gaudy numbers last couple of days, he's being right around .260 this year. A season ago, his on-base percentage, something you always look at in a leadoff man, was good. It was .369, but he had his fair share of strikeouts. He struck out 98 times. We're in the 5th. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes on for Cal, and I think, yeah, you'd have to be pretty pleased with what you've seen from Thompson tonight.
Absolutely, and his pitch count is very low. 57 pitches. So, I mean, just keep that up, extend it out a little bit. It's a real cool night, so you know, you're going to see him possibility of this rate get you 7 innings.
This might be something that he needs right now in his career. Not that he was stagnant in the bullpen, but he was struggling a little bit and was a guy that the Cardinals really couldn't count on here at the beginning of the season, but he's gotten better and better after correcting a little mechanical flaw.
Yeah, and I think because he wasn't consistent, it was hard to put him in certain spots. So he wasn't pitching on a consistent basis to stay consistent. So now you put him in the rotation. You know you're going to be out there every 5 days. You get into a little bit of a groove. You keep that, staying on top of the ball so you get your sinking action.
And it's a strikeout as Molina holds on to the foul tip. Brad Thompson gave the Cardinals 5 innings in his last start, a no decision. And tonight he is through 5, and it's 8-1 St. Louis. Game summary tonight brought to you by Jack in the Box. Offense arrived early here in Los Angeles as the Cardinals have put up 8 runs in this game. 3 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 more in the third, and the Cardinals behind 10 hits tonight lead this ball game 8-1. They knocked out Brett Tomko. He lasted 2 1/3. That was the big blast by Duncan, his home run. Long night for the Dodger fans. It includes CNN's Larry King. Chin Wei Sao is the new pitcher. A smile from Scott Rowland.
It does happen. And he sees his daughter Rain. He smiles frequently.
Yeah. 8, 9, and 1 in the lineup as Brad Thompson has moved to the on-deck circle. Pitch count all that high right now, so he'll hit for himself. Chin Wei Sao, 13 appearances, and our call to the bullpen brought to you by Chevrolet.
It's from Taiwan. Pitch with Colorado. Parts of 03, 4, and 5. Has faced the Cardinals a couple times in the past.
Eckstein is 2 for 2 tonight. Shallow right field, Ethier, and won't make the catch. Eckstein is 3 for 3.
That's what David needs. Spray the ball around, and Ethier just seems like he's been a half step behind everything tonight. Kent going out, and see he traps the ball.
Ethier has just been about a step shy on 2 or 3 balls tonight.
And Kent a step or 2 away from him too. Well, Brad already is 3rd at bat.
And he looks at a ball every time he's been asked to sacrifice. Chin Wei Sao has represented his country in 5 major competitions, including the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens, Greece. Made 2 appearances for Chinese Taipei in the 04 Summer Games. And that is punted foul. Participated in the Junior World Championships, the Asia Cup. And back in 2000, as he is the 3rd Taiwanese-born pitcher to appear in the major leagues. He's well educated. He actually went and enrolled at the University of Northern Colorado to study English classes and kinesiology.
Brad Thompson, when he retired Fukuoka. Fukuoka had been 8 for 8 prior to that strikeout, and that fell 1 hit short of the Dodger record, 9 for 9, set by Ron Say back in 1975.
Ron Say is at the ballpark tonight.
That works in their community relations.
And it's bunted foul again by Thompson. So twice he has not been able to get the bunt down.
Second baseman, Adam Kennedy.
New network that covers one of the best conferences in the country. Football to basketball, everything in between. Now you can see the Big Ten's best all on one channel. The Big Ten Network, coming August 2007. Adam Kennedy singled and scored in the first. RBI double. A run scored his second time up. Grounds to Benameat. They'll go to second for one. On to first. Double play. 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Kennedy. Midway through the sixth. All St. Louis tonight here on the West Coast. Cardinal Baseball from LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Come in and try Jack's new sirloin steak and mushroom ciabatta. That's right, sirloin. By Chrysler, engineered beautifully. And by US Cellular, we connect with you. Cool night in Los Angeles, and we are at Dodger Stadium. Cardinals lead this ball game 8-1. Brad Thompson back to work here in the bottom of the sixth. Juan Pierre, Nomar Garciaparra, and Jeff Kent.
A lot of offense and a lot of good pitching from Brad Thompson. Good combination for the Cardinals.
And a strike on the outside corner. One ball, one strike on Pierre. Comes into play tonight with 47 hits. Sixth best in the National League. Matt Holliday leads that department with 56. 2 balls and 1 strike. Grounder hit to short. Eckstein up with it. Got to be quick with Pierre getting down the line. Another ground ball out. This has been good to see from Thompson this evening. That means his sinker is working. Brad has struck out 3 tonight, and there's been no walks that he's issued.
And that's another key and why his pitch count here 5 1/3 innings. He's only thrown 71 pitches. No, excuse me, 63 pitches. That's what you want to see. You somebody be very efficient. Get the ball, throw as many strikes as possible, keep your defense on their toes.
Hit left side, backhanded by Eckstein. Another ground ball out. No. Wide throw from Eckstein, and Pujols couldn't keep his tippy toes on the bag. Great effort there from Albert, but just couldn't quite hold on.
David probably had a little more time than he thought, but he backhanded. He tried to get that little crow hop and set and throw, but over the top, and Albert couldn't keep his foot on the bag. So it's the E6 in the 6th error by Eckstein this year. Cardinals haven't turned a double play. This would be a good time off the bat of Kent.
Kent homer to center field. Back in the 4th, the only run for the Dodgers tonight. He's also grounded out to short.
Start him off with a fastball inside. Looked like a fastball. It was supposed to be down and away and just tailed back in the middle of the plate. He belted over the center field wall.
Jeff Kent was originally selected by the Blue Jays 20th round back in 1989, and he drills it out to left center field. Over to cut it off is Duncan. Garciaparra on his way to third. First and third with 1 out.
And Jeff Kent, with that home run earlier, was number 350 of his career and his 1400th RBI. Show you the kind of hitter he is as he just pounds this one down in the strike zone, but solid contact. And the Dodgers have a little bit going right now. They're stirring in the Cardinal bullpen, but no one throwing as of yet.
Luis Gonzalez with runners at first and third. Only 1 out for Los Angeles. Spent the last 8 seasons with Arizona. He signed with the Dodgers as a free agent back in December. This will be his 18th major league season.
He's had a nice career himself. 327 home runs for Gonzalez as a left fielder. That's fourth most in Major League history for that position. 17th consecutive year he's been on opening day start.
Thompson would love to get that ground ball here in a double play as Tyler Johnson will start to get loose. Three-game series here, off day on Thursday, so Cardinals would love to see at least 2 more outs from Brad Thompson and save the bullpen.
Yeah, and I mean, even though the starting pitching really has not been as good as we thought, and a lot of that is because of lack of run support, they still have managed to go 5 and 6 innings, so it really has not put that big a burden on the bullpen.
Back in 2001, the finest year of his career, 57 home runs for Gonzalez. Drove in 142, and last year, at the age of 38, it was the doubles that he was piling up. He had 52 doubles a season ago.
He's got over 550 career doubles.
Slowly hit. Thompson to second for one, on to first. Got him. Double play. Thompson gets the double play. And the score remains 8-1. Artie's hot pitch, a double play. Started here by Brad Thompson, and a big double play in this game.
A good sinker right there. Just a little tapper back to him. Knew exactly who was going to be covering next time, and a close play at first, and it goes the Cardinals' way.
A couple of changes for the Dodgers we'll tell you about momentarily, but William Hubert is tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, William qualifies for the Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Good chance here for William Hubert because you've got Duncan, Pujols, and Edmonds. Chris with a pair of hits tonight, and he pops one foul and out of play.
Ramon Martinez takes over at second base, and Almeida Signs will go play first base.
One ball, one strike on Duncan.
Chris, a couple runs scored, a single and a 2-run home run.
Pujols' spot in the pitcher spot with Brad Thompson, the only spots in this lineup without a hit tonight. Shows you the importance of the first man in the lineup getting on, and that second man doing so, as Kennedy and Duncan have scored 4 of the 8 runs tonight.
Good sign. The Cardinals only 1 home run. You have 2 in the month of May, both of them off the bat of Chris Duncan.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Cardinals also have 4 doubles in this game. This was the big blast. No doubt about it. Second inning, a 2-run shot. Deep into the bullpen.
Last night for Tomko, he lasted just 2 1/3. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Chris Duncan. Post-game show is coming up tonight. Bernie Miklas of the Post-Dispatch will be along with Pat Paris this evening, and as always, it's brought to you by Budweiser. And a grounder that's pulled foul. Cardinals coming into play tonight, and 3 of the 8 lowest batting averages among regulars. Rowland, Eckstein, and Edmonds, but this offense has come alive. They've got 11 hits tonight.
Davis got 3 for 3. Edmonds got an RBI double in the first to get scoring started. Rowland had followed up with a sacrifice fly and then a double in the third. Came around to score. Juan Encarnacion got his first RBI of the year with him. Completed the scoring in the first inning with an RBI single.
One and two the count on Duncan. And he hits it out to center. Pierre will make the catch. He didn't know whether to stop, go back, come in.
See a ball hit like that is usually it's a knuckleball effect.
World Championship fan jewelry collection now available at the Cardinals team store at 8th and Clark, or by calling 1-877-CHAMP-06 or STLCardinals.com. Wherever we go on the road, the opposing teams are in awe of those Cardinal rings. Pujols tonight popped out to short, fly to right, fly to center. Came up with runners at first and third, nobody out back in the first, and couldn't deliver. You wondered at that time if that was going to be a sign of things to come.
That was good luck off the bat of Edmonds. Tried to check his swing and got an RBI double.
A 2-0 pitch. Watch out here. Oh, good rip by Albert. What have you seen this year with Pujols? Why do you think that he's off to this slow start, hitting below 250 now?
You see the in-game box. You see his big 0 for 3 stands out, but you know, he had a 12-game hitting streak, put over 400 during that time. It was a little jumpy early in the season, trying to expand his zone.
That's the thing I see.
Yeah, but I had a scout tell me that he thought he saw something different, the way he holds his bat. I mean, but everybody's got a theory and everybody's got something, but a different bat angle than it was a year ago. Maybe making the swing a little longer.
And when you're saying that, is it before? Was it laid a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm thinking it was laid. You know, it's a little more upright, where it was maybe a little bit laid back. But you know, this is just another scout, and he's not getting his weight all the way back on his back leg.
And if you do that, you're out in your front foot, you'll see a lot of pop-ups and ground balls.
Right. You know, or you hold your hands a little bit higher, or that bat a little more perpendicular, and you know, you're lengthening your swing. You see his hips kind of open up a little quicker than what you're normal. Remember how he could hit a ball to left field, but other guys would pull it foul. His ball would stay fair because of his hips.
Reaches for it there and pulls it to third. Got to meet the Tires Albert Pujols. So that's a ball right there that normally he doesn't chase, or if he does, Al, he's going to right field.
Yeah, I mean, he's not hitting the ball the opposite field like he used to.
Pitch by pitch, brought to you by Chevy.
Started out with a slider, it was up for a ball, then a couple fastballs. There's a 2-2, and he fastball down, they rep that fastball up, comes back in. There's a slider again, and another breaking ball that backed up on him a little bit. And a little breaking ball that really wasn't very good, but he was way out in front and rolled his hands over. Little ground ball to the left side.
Strike one on Edmonds.
He's not going to do it all the time. And in a game like tonight, his teammates have picked up his slack, but
there's a base hit up the middle for Edmonds. His second hit on the night, 2 for 4.
Just not used to seeing Albert struggle. Set up away. Hits it off the end of the bat, but got enough of it to center it and get it up the middle for Jim's second hit. And the Cardinals' 12th.
Scott rolling with an RBI. Run scored, a double. 1 for 2.
Beach ball out in the right field area.
Right in front of the numbers for Chin Wee So. Take a look at the night for Scott Rowland. Early on against Tomko, that's the sac fly and the RBI back in the first. Brought home Chris Duncan in the third inning, a double, and he would eventually come around to score on an RBI by Yadier Molina. Cardinals rely so much on Pujols, Edmonds, and Rowland. Maybe too much.
Well, you know, they've got to do the majority of the damage, but you need guys on in front of them. And if they start hitting and hitting as a trio, watch out, because this team will just relax and they'll just, you know, things will fall in place for them. But when they don't hit, and lesser hitters try too hard. What Tony was saying, how the lesser hitters are trying to put too much pressure on themselves, trying to carry too much of the load. And then the veteran guys were kind of saying, hey, don't worry, our track records will take over. Well, he was worried about losing too much ground and getting buried.
And again, Milwaukee has lost tonight to the Phillies. No chance to pick up a game for the Cardinals. 2 balls and 1 strike. Edmonds and Pujols, 3 hits tonight. Couple of RBIs and 2 runs scored. Little floater out to left center field, drops in for a hit. Edmonds on his way to third. First and third, and 2 down. Just didn't seem like those kind of base hits were dropping before, did
No,
they?
no, they were not dropping. Guys were hitting in tough luck. You know, like Jim Edmonds said, told me, he goes, the heck with hitting a ball hard and making outs. I want base hits. I'll take the quails, the flares. I'll get me those, and then the hard hit balls will come.
2-out RBI base hit by Juan back in the first, and he is grounded to short, grounded to third.
I told you Juan would hit better at the big leagues than he did in the minor leagues. He's at 167.
It's a rough rehab stint. At 155. Chase that pitch.
That's what you get. You worry about that wrist when you see those wild swings, and a lot of times guys will tell you, it's like, as long as I make contact, it doesn't bother me. But when I don't make contact, and he told me his wrist is fine. He's just obviously trying to get back in playing shape. Chad Billingsley is warming up, right-hander for the Dodgers.
A swing and a miss. Encarnacion strikes out. Cardinals strand 2. They've left just 4 on tonight. And it's time to stretch here at Dodger Stadium. Cardinals lead it. It's 8-1. Well, tomorrow night, tune in as the Cardinals and the Dodgers play Game 2 of this series, and our telecast will be presented in high definition. Catch the Cardinals in HD tomorrow night here on FSN Midwest. How about this? Brad Thompson pitching into the 7th inning tonight. We're back at Dodger Stadium. A couple things have stood out about this game. One, Brad Thompson. He's allowed just 5 hits, only 1 run. That was the solo home run by Jeff Kent back in the 4th, and the offense coming alive tonight.
Hard to deny either one of them. Last time he went 5 innings and he only gave up a home run tonight, but Key with no walks, pitched in the 7th inning, and he just has gotten to 71 pitches.
Boy, that no walks is so big.
Yeah, and I mean, and you would have thought that maybe 70, 80 pitches would be his limit today, but if you can get through this 7th inning, then you go, okay, Brad, nice job.
Out to center, Edmonds for the first out.
Let him hit some balls hard as long as they're right at him. Some of the ground balls have been well struck, but they've just pounded them in the ground.
Benamedes. He is 0 for 2. Benamid, a switch hitting infielder. Played second, third, and shortstop during his first 4 seasons in the major leagues. 11th professional season overall. Was with Atlanta and now here in Los Angeles. 9 home runs a year ago and batted .281. No balls and 2 strikes on the switch hitter. Most home runs by a Dodgers switch hitter. Reggie Smith back in 1977 had 32, but Eddie Murray's on that list. We saw Eddie tonight.
Eddie, one of the best all-time switch hitters.
Out to deep right field. Encarnacion is back. He'll look up, and that baby's gone. 8-2. Benamid picks up his 3rd home run.
Last week he got a couple pinch hit home runs in Atlanta as he was on the bench, and that's earned him the playing time once again.
His first hit of the night and the 6th for Los Angeles.
It looked like he really got his hands extended. It looked like he got jammed a little bit, but got it out to the right field bleachers. So it's really only the 2 home runs.
Now it's Ethier slicing one. Duncan on the move. He won't get it. Ethier is thinking 2. The throw in. Going to be cut off by Eckstein. And it's a 1-out double, and that'll get that bullpen up and loose in a hurry.
3 consecutive fly balls.
Take a look at our Geico quote. This 8-2 ball game from Brad Thompson starting. Better feel for your pitches relieving. You know you have a chance to pitch every day.
Yeah, asked him what do you like most about starting is you got a better feel for your pitches because you're going to be out there, so you get into a little rhythm. But as a reliever, you know you've got a chance to compete every single day. Just when he was a reliever, he wasn't pitching in that regular cycle, like how we talk about Franklin, who was a starter so many years. As you see Tyler Johnson and Russ Springer throwing. But Franklin was kind of, you know, now that he is kind of like the 8th inning guy and pitching consistently, how much he's enjoying having that opportunity to pitch every day and compete.
See where Dave Duncan just trying to calm down Brad Thompson. We have so many shots. You know, he reminds me of a little bit as Klein. When Klein would give up a hit or a run, and you'd see him with all his emotions.
You better hope his mom's in attendance here and she didn't hear you just compare him to Steve Klein.
Hey, she dealt with it. She knows what I'm talking about.
She told us yesterday on Mother's Day that he was a really nice young man.
Yeah.
And
my mom said the same thing too.
I don't think my mom did.
Not surprising. Grounder hit to short. Eckstein up with it. There's 2 outs. This Caparati telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're in the 7th, and the Cardinals lead at 8-2. Only 79 pitches tonight for Brad Thompson.
A lot of strikes. So they're up there hacking because he's been around the strike zone.
Back 2 for Cowell. Top of this lineup. Ethier, the runner at second base. Grounder, base hit to right. Encarnacion was playing very deep. I mean, it looked like he was near the track. RBI number 10 for Cowell, and that's it for Thompson.
Still did a great job. Just ran out of gas here a little bit in his 2nd start of the year. He got a lot of run support to where he could, be allowed to go out there here in the 7th inning.
Thompson gives up 2 runs near the bottom of the 7th. exits with an 8-3 lead. This year when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals here on FSM Midwest, check out MLB.tv and you can log on to the internet to watch every out-of-market Cardinals game live or listen to every radio broadcast live. For more details on MLB.tv, visit STLCardinals.com where baseball is always on. 8-3 St. Louis. And the Cardinals go to their bullpen with Tyler Johnson to face Juan Pierre. Lefties for the Cardinals this season have been outstanding, and the numbers for Tyler Johnson, a .69 ERA in his 19 games. That's just outstanding.
Pitching on almost a every other day basis. So he's staying consistent with his release point on his breaking ball.
One thing about it, Al, is that sometimes you'll see these hitters maybe move up in the box a little bit when Johnson comes in because they know the slider is coming. And he has tried to counter with his fastball to mix it up a little bit, but it's a matter of trying to locate that fastball. Roland was playing in, so they'll get Pierre by a couple of steps. Good work by Tyler Johnson. We have played 7 here at Dodger Stadium. The Cardinals lead it 8-3. Cardinals with an 8-3 lead. They've got 13 hits on the night as we move to the top of the 8th here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Some changes for the Dodgers. Looks like Valdez out there in center. Wilson Valdez.
Pitch hit, stayed in the ball game.
They've used what? Signs, Valdez, Lieberthal, Martinez, and LaRoche. So
everybody
still,
but Brady Clark.
Yeah.
And Chad Billingsley will come in to pitch here in the Cardinals' 8th inning.
Numbers for Chad Billingsley. 14th appearance, a record of 2-0. Opponents hitting .267 against him.
He hasn't allowed a run in his last 5 outings, covering a span of 7 2/3 innings.
Hard-throwing right-hander reached the major leagues for the first time last season. His 4th campaign in professional ball. He was the Dodgers Branch Rickey minor league pitcher of the year, both in 04 and 05. Considered their top prospect going into last season.
Cardinal relievers have compiled a 3.03 ERA, ranking 4th behind the Padres, Mets, and the Dodgers, who are at 2.95.
Chad was the 24th overall pick in the 2003 draft, and you can see he throws hard. A 1-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. Breaking ball in the dirt. Molina scored on a wild pitch back in the 3rd. Single, picked up an RBI to drive in Scott Rowland. Good outing by Brad Thompson tonight. 6 2/3 for the Cardinals. A 2-1 pitch. He blew it by him. 2-2. Thompson strikes out 3 tonight. Gives up 8 hits. Couple of home runs, and he only threw 80 pitches, Al, to get to 6 2/3. So Brad Thompson, very, very good outing.
And really what the team needed was him to go deep into a ball game, and Cardinal pitchers needed to go deep in the run scoring department, as his teammates have given him 8 runs and 13 hits.
2-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. Got him. Called 3rd strike. This guy's got electric stuff.
6'1", listed at 245, and a lot of it's in the lower half.
He is only 22 years of age. Chad Billingsley had a 3.80 ERA as a rookie. The best rookie as far as ERA is concerned for the Dodgers, Fernando, back in 1981, 2.48.
I remember Fernando Mania back then, where Fernando became the first pitcher to not only win the Rookie of the Year, but also the Cy Young. in his rookie season.
Threw a no-hitter against the Cardinals. Nasty breaking ball taken inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. San Diego has beaten Cincinnati 7-1. Mets beat the Cubs 5-4. Phillies over Milwaukee. Final there was 8-6. Pittsburgh beat Florida 7-0. Angels 7, Texas 2. Washington over Atlanta 2-1. Boston beat Detroit 7-1. Toronto over Baltimore 5-3. They're in the 8th inning, and Kansas City and Oakland are scoreless. And our ball game right here, 8-3 St. Louis. Strikeout number 2 on the night. Scott Spezia will be the pinch hitter for the Cardinals. Opponents only hit 191 against Billingsley a year ago.
Let's see how Scott fares.
He'll be up there hacking. Breaking ball. And strike 1.
He's looking for a fastball, so he laid off the slider. Sees another slider, so breaking ball, and so he's down 0-2. Now he's got to pull the trigger.
Phillies in that game against Milwaukee, 6 runs in the 8th to come back and win it.
Everybody raved about their 7, 8, and 9 pitchers for the Milwaukee.
Billingsley strikes out the side. Bottom of the 8th rolls in when we come back. Cardinals baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for a Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. By Chevrolet, meet the all-new Silverado 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. See for yourself. Shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Advance Auto Parts, we're ready in advance. Gorgeous night for baseball here in Los Angeles, where the Cardinals lead it 8-3. Been a while since Ryan Franklin has pitched, so he needs some work, and he'll get that call here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Ryan hasn't pitched since last Tuesday versus Colorado. He's earned team high 7 holds last Tuesday night and has holds in 4 of the Cardinals' last 6 wins. 7 holds, 7 of the team's 13. He has found a home as the 8th inning reliever for the Cardinals. 14 for 14 and retiring the first batter he faces. Opponents batting 185 against him. And you just like the way he attacks hitters. Tomato Signs will get his first plate appearance. Dodger first baseman.
Signs, Martinez, and then Gonzalez. This game started with Brett Tomko only lasting 2 1/3. 8 runs allowed on 9 hits, and he was booed off the field. Almedo Signs with a couple of home runs, 5 RBIs on the season.
He's one of their pinch hitter deluxes. He'll go up there and swing the bat for you. He has 39 career pinch hits for the Dodgers, tying him with Mike Sharperson for 7th in team history.
Signs came up in 1994. He was with the White Sox. Been with Oakland. And the last 4 years with Los Angeles. He is from Panama.
15 pinch hits a year ago and belted 3 pinch hit homers. Second time he's done that with the Dodgers. 04 and 06.
You would figure, Al, that when you talk about pinch hitters in Dodgers history, the first name that comes to mind is
Manny Mulder.
right. But the most pinch hits in Dodger history, Dave Hansen.
Dave Hansen, you know, Walker, think back at some of his classic battles against Lee Smith.
Almedo signs as the longest tenured Dodger.
And that's strange.
Sure is. Then Coletti has come in and tried to remake this team very quickly with Furcal and Pierre and Garcia Parra and Jeff Ken. First season for Luis Gonzalez. Young catcher and Martin. Wilson Benjamin came over in a trade. A 3-2 pitch. Franklin has about 6 different pitches, and he'll use 2 or 3 now as a reliever.
Basically sinker slider, and then he's got a splitter. I like the way he goes about his business.
Count of 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pulled the left, and that's going to drop in for a hit. Over to get it, Duncan. Gets by him, and it's off the wall. Signs on his way to second base.
First time Ryan Franklin has not retired the first batter, but never ideal for somebody that's got such an important role as the 8th inning man, setting up to get to his. He did not pitch for 6 days. And you got a professional hitter in Signs coming up there, and got that fastball, and he's quick with his hands and wrist, and he just popped it into left.
Second baseman, number 18, Ramon Martinez.
Ramon Martinez. First baseman on a double will trail the runner. I'm not so sure if Pujols was trailing the runner or trying to have a race with him. Signs to second base.
Around there.
Ramon Martinez, 34 years of age, 8 years of Major League service. Made the Dodgers out of spring training of a season ago. Popped up. Calling for Kennedy. Backing up. And whoa, he'll make the catch.
Randy Flores is warming up for the Cardinals in case get into a little bit of a jam. But now after getting the 1 out.
And now it's Luis Gonzalez.
I think you need to let Ryan just pitch.
Luis is one of my favorite people to deal with in baseball.
Isn't he? Great guy, just a perfect gentleman. He's been a really good ball player on and off the field.
Of course, you think back to his time in Arizona, and he is the record holder for just about everything offensively. But think about his game-winning hit off of Mariano Rivera in Game 7 of the World Series. Coming up, it'll be Bernie Miklasz and Pat Paris. They'll have Cardinals Live immediately following our ball game tonight. And as always, that's brought to you by Budweiser. Cardinals Live coming up here on FSM Midwest. Luis and his wife had triplets in 1998.
Yeah.
Here's a grounder, backhanded by Eckstein. Settles, long throw. Good play. We played 8. And it's 8-3 St. Louis. Our score is the Cardinals lead it 8-3 here in the 9th inning at Dodger Stadium. Today's game reset is brought to you by Singular. Singular is now the new AT&T. We start with Brad Thompson. He was terrific tonight. 6 2/3 for Thompson. This is a key double play off the bat of Gonzalez. 3 runs allowed, 8 hits, no walks, He struck out 3 and allowed a couple of home runs.
Tony got the offense he needed. He got the well-pitched game from the starter. Franklin gave him the scoreless 8. Kennedy got things started with a base hit in the first time up, out of the leadoff spot, and then the second time a double and RBI. 8 runs, 13 hits, 3 in the first. And if the Cardinals hold on and win this, would be franchise win number 9,000.
Billingsley struck out the side back in the 8th. Here's a question for you.
Yes.
Eckstein with 3 hits tonight. At what point do you think about moving him back in that top spot in the lineup?
Well, it's a very good question, and Tony always, when talking about Eckstein, he always is first to say that he is my leadoff man, and it's a matter of time before he would put him back in there. And I think the fact that Kennedy got 2 hits here tonight, got the offense going, you may leave him in there. You're going to have a tough time tomorrow because Lowe's, with all of his sinkers and a lot of ground balls. But I think you see if maybe you get him to do it another game or 2 and Kennedy cool off a little bit before you make that switch.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Adam. Pop foul out of play. Kennedy played 969 games at second base for the Angels. Bobby Grich, only other Angel to play more games at second, and there's a look at his former teammate in Anaheim and now current teammate David Eckstein. High fly ball out to center. 1 out, 4 up and 4 down for Billingsley.
David Eckstein, the only shortstop in Major League history to win a World Championship in the American and National League. Boy, as a Cardinal shortstop position, what is he, the 4th shortstop in 26 years? Cardinal shortstop.
Let's see, the Cardinals had Ozzie and then Royce Clayton. And then you had Renteria and now Eckstein.
And at second base, where Kenny's playing, he's 5 straight years. There's been a different starting second baseman on opening day.
No particular order. We've had Vigna and Grizzolanic.
And Vigna, Womack, Grizzolanic, Miles, and Kennedy. You almost would have thought Marlon Anderson, who was on the disabled list for the Dodgers, would have been on that. He just had bone chips removed from his elbow.
Marlon was part of that dramatic comeback for the Dodgers a year ago. They had 4 home runs consecutive fashion. Marlon wound up being a pretty good pinch hitter for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And that's where his career now is with the Dodgers. I mean, he's off the bench and provides a little pop from the left side.
And long talk with him. He's really glad he did have that surgery because it was just last week, but his range of motion is so much better. It feels better, and he knows he'll be back sometime this year. They're saying probably about 2 months. He kind of feels in his mind that it'll be quicker than that, but he's not going to come back too soon.
You and I were talking with Dave Duncan a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling us about his other son, Shelley, who is in the Yankees organization. And apparently Shelley's been putting up some pretty good numbers.
He mentioned at that time he thought he was hitting about 330 and right around 10 home runs and stuff. But in that organization, you could get buried in the minor leagues.
Sure.
But he's got to be over a 6-year minor league free agent about now. Has that ability to move to a new organization.
Well, you got Giambi in that spot. Minkevich they signed in the offseason to provide some defense. You're right. I mean, that's payroll that just keeps on giving, and it's tough to break to come up and make that team.
Albert's last shot to get a hit. The starter has a hit except for Albert. How rare is that translate into a Cardinal victory?
0 for 4 for Pujols tonight. And you know that he is going to see everybody's best, whether he's going great or like he's going right now. Two balls and no strikes. Count of 3 balls, 1 strike on Albert Pujols. Pujols has popped out to short, fly to right, fly to center, and grounded out to third.
Billings, he will challenge him with that good fastball.
Oof. Pujols almost hit a home run in San Diego. Any other ballpark, he picks up number 7 on that win in which the Cardinals had 5 runs in 1 inning, the only inning that they scored in the entire series against the Padres.
They scored 3 times, 3 different innings today, the first 3.
A breaking ball, and he hits a bullet to Betemit. Albert just flips his bat, flips his helmet. Tough luck continues. Not safe situation for Randy Flores. He'll check into the game here in the bottom of the 9th. It's 8-3 Cardinals. This will be his 16th appearance, a record of 1-0. We saw him pitch yesterday at San Diego. Randy has retired 11 of the last 13 he has faced, and 5 of those have been strikeouts. So Taguchi takes over in left. The left-handers for the Cardinals, we have seen Johnson tonight. Those 2 have been outstanding. Cardinals get another great outing here from Brad Thompson, 6 2/3. And he certainly has earned himself another start.
So if Randy can't close this game out real quickly, clean up for tomorrow.
Betemit, a switch hitter. He is homered tonight. Homered from the left side. Randy Flores is 31. It took him a while to be an established pitcher here in the major leagues, but he stuck with it, and here he is, rewarded with a 2-year contract in the offseason.
Bounced around a few organizations. Used to be inconsistent with his breaking pitch, but now he's throwing a lot of strikes. He's fallen behind 3-1, but he's 14 strikeouts to only 3 walks. So I figure he'll come back.
Saw Randy visiting with Tim Floyd prior to the game, the head basketball coach at USC, and Randy, of course, attended USC and is the all-time winningest pitcher in school's history.
That's amazing when you think about some of the great players.
Base hit to the right side. Kennedy must have been near the bag at second.
Yeah, he was. Big gap on the right side. And you had, how about 3 guys like Dave Kingman, Mark McGuire, and Tom Seaver.
Think about that.
3 pitchers.
Forget that Big Mac was a pitcher.
Yeah. Big Mac had dinner last night with Walt Johnson and Tony La Russa, so they had a great time. He was on his way with his family to Hawaii today.
Ethier with a base hit into right. And the first 2 have reached against Randy Flores.
Izzy is warming up along with another right-hander.
Wilson Valdez will be the hitter.
Falkenborg. It's a save situation right now, so if they wanted to bring him in, but not yet. One more base runner. Getting the Cardinals at 8.
Cardinals did their scoring in the first 3 innings. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 more in the third. Led this game 8-0. It's now 8-3.
Valdez was voted AAA Las Vegas MVP by the coaching staff last season after he just under 300 with 6 home runs and 53 RBIs, 26 stolen bases.
Trying to bunt his way on. It's going to roll foul. Boy, oh boy, down by 5 runs and trying to bunt his way on.
I was just thinking, you know, your MVP, he hit right around 300, but only 6 home runs and 53 RBIs. And very offensive Pacific Coast League. Las Vegas is ball flies pretty well there. So.
Now it's almost like you're passing the buck, too.
Well, you are.
I know you're trying to get on, but.
You need base runners, but you'd like to think you better hit your way on.
Correct. Broken bat, slowly hit. And the catch is made. Might have been better off not making that catch.
Well, if you know you're going to get a solid bounce, you're right. But if that takes a bounce and bounces away from you, you're talking about letting it go and then trying to get a double play. But you can see he's never really had his body in a position where he knew he could block it. So you're better off take the one out. Take a sure out.
Double play can end it.
You know, Grady Little depleted his bench and took out a lot of his regulars. We thought that process as this game is a couple guys on here late.
Kyle now hitting from the other side. I was a little surprised to see midway through this game is, you know, he took out Garcia Parra and Jeff Kent, and it was early on. Russell Martin as well. Now, those are guys in your lineup, Al, that can provide a little punch, and all of a sudden you're back in the game.
You know, I mean, Signs, who got a double in the 8th inning to lead off, would have been a nice guy to be hitting where Valdez did. And then, you know, if you had 1 or 2 of those guys having Garcia Parra there, or Jeff Kent, if you got.
Off the glove of Rowland, couldn't come up with it. Eckstein will chase it down, and the bases will be loaded. Rowland almost came up with a dandy.
It's a base hit, bases loaded. But I mean, you would have had Signs hitting where Valdez did with 2 men on. The only guy they have left is Brady Clark, and he's going to hit for Juan Pierre.
See, to me, that doesn't make any sense either, because Pierre's a guy that stays out of a double play, and I understand lefty-lefty, but you're still trying to stay in this game.
And now you're going to bring in your closer, so, you know, Juan Pierre, Tony might have brought in Izzy either way.
Eight-3 game, bases loaded. The Cardinals turn it over to Isringhausen. This will be his 16th appearance. 9 saves and 10 opportunities. And opponents, look at that at the very bottom. Opponents only hitting 160 against him. And I love the other part of that graphic too, Al. 11 strikeouts and just 2 walks. A season ago, walks and control the biggest problem for Isringhausen. It just tells you how much he was hurt a season ago.
Yeah, just couldn't concentrate on location. Had to worry about his landing foot and the pain it was going to create. So Grady Little's used his last bullet, his last bench reserve. This is a save situation for Izzy.
Saw Brady Clark for a number of years in Milwaukee.
He was acquired by the Dodgers on May 27th in exchange with Elmer DeSenz.
Bases loaded, 1 out. First pitch is outside. These Dodger fans were treated to one of the great comebacks in baseball a year ago. So they get to this situation, they get pretty excited. 4 consecutive home runs for the Dodgers to win a game.
They wouldn't need 4 for this one. Just don't see Izzy come in many times in the middle of an inning. You know, where the modern trend is to have your closer start the inning, but the 3 hits that Flores allows, it brings this situation where the base is loaded and 1 out.
Count of 2 balls and no strikes. Can Pujols get there? Near the dugout, makes the catch. Here at Dodger Stadium. Now, of course, you played here. I mean, there is a lot of foul territory near the dugouts.
With a new configuration, they have eliminated an awful lot. They've added a lot of seats all the way down, you know, the left and right field, but they brought in the seating quite a bit. And it paid off there as Albert gets that second out. Boy, not a good swing on a 2-0 pitch.
Right.
And the best you can do is pop up your first baseman in foul territory.
Totally agree. I was about to bring that up. With the bases loaded nonetheless, and down by 5 runs.
Signs, he's familiar with these type of pressure situations as being a pinch hitter. He has went in to play first base. This would be Garcia Power. But he did get a double in his 1 plate appearance. That was off of Frank.
I mean, Al, that's a spot where you can put the pressure on the pitcher. He's got to come at you.
2-0. Yeah. Right now we have the same scenario again.
If you wanted to, you can take 2 strikes.
Sure you can. A lot of pitch hitters, you know, the mentality is that you only get that 1 shot, so you got to swing at the first pitch you see that's good. But when you're 2-0, maybe not used to seeing Izzy. Not a bad idea to take a strike.
Ball's behind now, 3-0.
Video board, they show a shark up there.
Problem here is you walk in a run, which then would make it 8-4, and you bring the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, that's why you always want to get more than 4, so a grand slam can't beat you.
Walks in a run. So, tying run now comes to the plate. And it gets a little more interesting.
And it would be Jeff Kent, but you took him out of the game.
Right. That's what I'm saying now. I felt that he pulled too many of the regulars. Too many of them. I could see maybe 1 or 2, or maybe just figuring out that guy needs some time off. You're coming back tomorrow the next night, but to pull all the guys that he did, it's too much.
Most of the time, it probably wouldn't come down to this scenario, but it has tonight.
Martinez looks at a strike.
Sometimes as a pitcher, you go out there and you know they're going to be taken until you throw a strike, and yet it's difficult to do.
Outfield is deep and straight away. Cardinals just need one more out to get the win. 8-4 here in the ninth. Ground ball, Eckstein there, force play at second. Cardinals win it, and Thompson gets the win. 8-4 our final tonight. So the Dodgers got the tying run at the plate. They come up short. Player of the game is next. 8-4, the Cardinals win this game. Isringhausen picks up his 10th save. Thompson is now 2-0, and Tomko is 1-4. The Cardinals get all 8 runs in the first 3 innings. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you, and they also get a good start from Brad Thompson. He goes 6 2/3, and he's our Budweiser player of the game.
Well, he did an outstanding job, but it was nice to have the offense give him 3 runs before he took the mound here at Dodger Stadium. But he went out there and was extremely efficient with his pitches. A lot of strikes, almost like a 3-to-1 ratio of strikes to balls pitched. He goes 6 2/3 innings, gave up a couple home runs and ran out of gas a little bit there, but he was outstanding and deserved that win, his second win of the year.
Izzy gets the save, Thompson picks up the win, and the Cardinals take game 1 of this series. Much more to come from Dodger Stadium. That's it for now. Let's send it to Pat.
All right, Dan, Al, thank you very much. We'll rejoin you guys in just a moment on the post-game edition of Budweiser Cardinals Live. Also coming up, an interview with the star of the game, plus Tony La Russa's comments on the victory. And Post-Dispatch columnist Bernie Miklasz joins us to break down the game. Cardinals Live up next right here on FSN Midwest.